we've told you that the minimum wage for California fast food workers is jumping up to $20 an hour. In Texas, our minimum wage remains $7.25 an hour. So there have been numerous attempts to increase the minimum wage, but it's stayed the same since 2009. Joining me right now to discuss all of this is University of Houston professor of economics, Stephen Craig. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
Yeah, so I'm very interested in this whole conversation. I mean, first, this increase in California is only for fast food workers. I mean, there's another minimum wage for everyone else. Why do you think, or why do you know that California made that increase?
I mean, I can't say that I know, but I'll say that California has been pursuing a stream of sort of managed economy policies, and certainly raising the wage in one industry and not all the industries makes no sense. Governments are not great at running the economy in detail. And one of the ways that the world has gotten so wealthy relative to, 1,000 or 2,000 years ago is that we discovered that markets are a really great way to allocate resources. And so you don't want the market to allocate maybe every single thing.
Yeah.
But on average, markets do really well. And prices, and one of the reasons is because prices are so informative.
Yeah.
Like, we don't think anything about how anything that we buy is made, right? We have all these things.
Right.
And the price tells us whether it's hard or easy.
Well, and I feel like I'm sitting in your classroom right now. We know,
but governments are terrible at picking prices, and markets are really good at picking prices.
So you're saying leave it up to the businesses and the market.
Well, yeah, and so now no one exactly knows what's going to happen, and it's an interesting experiment in some sense, because fast food is now going to be more expensive. I don't exactly know the numbers, but I'll say on the order of 10%, which isn't huge. But at the same time, that means that people are going to use fast food less, and they're going to use some other form more. And so there's going to be less fast food jobs, not more. So
Yeah.
Is that a good thing? No.
Well, it's really interesting because when we talk about this, like, oh, the cost of living is constantly going up. It is in our state, I mean, everywhere across the country. And we say, oh, we need to pay people more. But it's as if people are not thinking, but if we're paying you more, then the businesses have to make that up somewhere. So
No,
basically
that's
all the
exactly
extra money they made, they're going to spend going to buy things.
And, people are worried about low-wage workers. And then the question is, proportionally, who are the patrons of fast food restaurants? It's all of us sometimes. But clearly, lower-income people use them more often than other people. So they're going to get hit with a price increase more than other people.
Yeah. So let's talk about Texas for a minute. So our minimum wage, $7.25. It's been that way since 2009. So fast food workers at $20 an hour in California, everybody else at $16 an hour, and then we're way down here. Do you think we need to do anything? Should we bump it up at all? I know some businesses are already paying over that just because the market says you need to hire people.
Well, that's exactly right? So, I mean, your wage relatively reflects the value that you're producing. For all of us, right, if you really want a long-term raise, what you want to do is be more valuable. Texas has an advantage. So the minimum wage is a very blunt instrument. So if you want to help people, right, Houston and Dallas, we have much more expensive cost of living than smaller towns, Longview, places like that, right? Small towns in the more rural areas. And so, what makes sense in Houston doesn't necessarily make sense in these other places, because our houses cost $200,000 and the house out there costs $85,000. And so, if you really want to help people, you need actually more creative policies than a minimum wage. Minimum wage is, like I said, a very blunt instrument. It's a bad policy to help people.
Yeah. So then I think I know the answer to this question was if an increase would be beneficial for the economy in any way whatsoever.
If only my students were as smart as you, I'd be set. No, well, so
that was a question, not a statement.
The answer is you could, if your goal is to help low-wage workers, is there a better policy? And the answer is yes. So, for example, the United States, we have an earned income tax credit. Now, we don't have that in Texas because we don't have an income tax, and we can be thankful or not that we don't. But the earned income tax credit bumps up working people's income. So
Right.
instead of getting an IRS, so instead of sending a check to the IRS sends them a check. Now,
Yes.
it's not the perfect policy because it happens once a year, right? So, for example, California has an income tax. If they really wanted to help people, they should do something like that. That's a much more nuanced policy. How would you figure out how to give people a check every month that are on the earned income tax credit?
Right. Yeah.
Right? Something like that.
All right.
And I guess the last thing I'll say about California policy is that, you know, California is a state that we all want to live in. Beautiful weather, beautiful scenery, none of the things that are true about Houston. People are moving to Houston and people are moving out of California.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's a person-made disaster and tells you that their path on public policy has just not been helpful for their economy. And it's the middle-class people that are leaving California because either you have to be a millionaire or broke and you're fine. And if you're in the middle, you're just squeezed in every way.
Yeah, I know people are feeling it. Professor Stephen Craig, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insights with us this morning. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Same to you.